Curiosity. What are you so curious about? Everything, Mr. Curiosity.
Alrighty, folks. Joe Snedeker here with the Mr. Curiosity podcast. And this is the first one of the new year. This is it, baby. Come on. So we've been going over 2 years now. I'm proud of this thing. Commitment, consistency. It's what's going on with Mr. Curiosity. And if you have any guests you want me to interview and have some fun with you, let me know. joe.snedeker@wnep.com. Now, this is a topic that every single ear out there could appreciate. We're talking about pizza. And I got Jim Mirabelli here. And what do you think, Big Jimmy baby?
I'll tell you, people love talking pizza. As much as I always do say, they love talking pizza about as much as they like talking about the weather. So I think we have a real hand and glove fit here.
I love it. You're making total sense. Here's the weird part about pizza, though. It's like if I had 100 random people and I asked them who's the most attractive person in Hollywood. They'd all have 100 different answers. So it's very subjective, isn't it? That's the problem. We can't say this pizza is better than that pizza. It's like saying my wife's prettier than your wife. It's very subjective. Isn't that the issue here?
Totally subjective, but people are so passionate about those subjective opinions, which is, we get into some really cool debates on NEPA Pizza Review in the comments section. People are just very adamant that there's only one best pizza and that's it. It's amazing. They'll give you their reasoning and everything, and you'll follow. But usually it's what you grew up with is what your pizza of choice is. But
that's a big part of it. All right, so I want to just plug you first of all. So you have a Facebook page called Northeast Pizza Review, right?
Yep, NEPAPizzaReview.com, and on all the social media outlets as well. I think most people try to consume through the social media. I have a passion for writing longer form articles with photos. I don't think people are into reading articles so much these days. So sort of transitioned to the social media game over the years.
No, that sounds excellent, because I don't know if this is a American thing, if it's a Northeastern PA thing, if it's a Valley thing. But since I was a kid, Friday is pizza day. And not only that, but hey, let's try different pizza. Every Friday, the Snedeker family is like, where are we going to get it this week? So I think your website and your Facebook page is essential, because it gives people an opportunity to do just that, to say, hey, let's try something different and let's see what this guy says, because he's the expert. Isn't that great?
It's fantastic. And, I've Pizza Friday is very real here in Northeast PA. And I've posed the question to a more national audience before, and some people had not heard of it, but particularly in New York and some other Northeastern areas, Pizza Friday is a very real thing. But I think it's very, very hyper local here. I mean,
get out, really?
I've written some articles for Discover NEPA about it. And my very anecdotal research says that it's very intense, Pizza Friday, and people make a pilgrimage to. Some people like to go to the same exact place every Friday, but I think there's a growing contingent. I think that that I've had a hand in, people going to different places, as you say, every single Friday, which is really cool. I get messages. So where to this week, and I'll try to understand what people's preferences are and then give them a recommendation to go give it a try. The other thing I like to do is when I was in a good review groove, I've taken the month of December off, but when I'm in a good review groove, every week I post my review on Thursday so that people who are looking for that place on Friday can have something to consider. So
that's perfect. That's perfect. So you can go to, again, NEPaPizzaReview.com, correct?
NEPA Pizza Review, yes.
And on Facebook to get his review. So we're going to talk pizza. Now, I've got a brief outline. I'm not an outline kind of guy. I like this to be organic and just flow as it wishes to. But we have to talk about chain stores. We have to talk about folders. I hate pizza folders. We have we'll get to that later. We'll talk about old world, Sicilian, New York style, Mexican, which is kind of rare. We got to get into all this. But first of all, you don't just go around eating pizza for a living. Come on, man. What are you all about? How'd you get into this?
So, professionally, I'm an accountant by trade, business manager. But how'd I get into this? So growing up, my parents instilled big time work ethic into my sister and I. Started my first job was about 14 years old as a dishwasher in a little place called Donio's Pizza in Clark Summit.
I love it.
Someone will remember it. And when I got into being a dishwasher, of course I wanted to be a great dishwasher, but I always had my eye on the pizza counter with the guy spinning the dough there. And I always kept asking my boss, can I learn? Can I learn? Can I learn? And then, over time, certainly they let you in. And I learned how to make pizza. And then throughout high school and college and even beyond, when I had, my first sort of professional job,
Right.
I still worked pizza on the weekends. So I was working, a full-time job plus a full weekend. And I just always loved the pizza business. It gave me so much in terms of connections and people and just how to work and how to relate to people and of course how to make pizza. And so that passion never left me even after I left the business. And I have this techie side to me where I always just had a desire to have a website of some kind. No idea how to do it.
Yeah.
So I went back to school to get my MBA, and I'm there. We had some sort of project, and I said, "Well, this sounds like a great excuse to launch a website for this project." So I just NEPA Pizza Review I landed on as a name, and I went to Blogger, which is the Google free platform that you can use easily. It's about as easy as creating an email. So I said, "Oh, this is a good place to start." And I dropped into, I think I went to Arcaro and Janelle's in Old Forge, and I, wrote about it. And then I went across the street to Ravel's and I wrote about it. And then, I thought it was just for a while, I was just doing it for myself. And then, and I was anonymous at the time. And, about, 9 months in, a year.
Transparency, Jim. Transparency, Jim. Come on, it's important.
Exactly. Well, I didn't want my mug out there. I assume people don't want to see this thing, right?
Being a critic comes with risks,
Exactly. So it was like a slow growth. I'd get a few clicks. If I had like 7 clicks in a day, I'd get excited. Somebody read my review. And then I just kind of kept creating these reviews. And then one day my buddy calls me up. He's like, "Hey, you like pizza?" I was in the, picking up a pizza, and this lady in front of me told me she was there because this guy online told me to go.
See, I love it. You got to follow your passions.
Yeah. So I said, "Oh, that guy is me." I hadn't told him that I hadn't told my family, my friends, anybody that I was doing this because, blogging isn't exactly the coolest thing back, a decade ago when I started. And I don't know that it is at this point now either, but I wasn't striving to be cool or anything like that. I just wanted to express creatively my passion in a different outlet.
And look at now, WNEP found you. So if there's one thing that we can learn from doing 2 years of podcasts, I've been interviewing a lot of people from rock stars to actresses and actors. It's follow your passions. That's where you want to go in life because it's not really work, and that's what you did.
It doesn't feel like work.
No.
Thousands of hours into it, but I love doing it.
Exactly. So maybe it's my short attention span. What restaurant was that you worked at when you were a kid?
It was known as Donio's Pizza at the time.
Now, do I know that one? Is that popular? I never heard of that.
It was Garrity's in Clark Summit.
Yes.
It was in that plaza there. I believe it was Fiorillo's after that.
Okay, so it's not there anymore.
Not there anymore. And then I worked at Dino and Francesco's.
Oh, okay. So you're a Clark Summit guy, though.
Yes.
So that pizza restaurant that you started at as a dishwasher, did that have a good reputation as making good pizza, or no? It was just your average pizza? Or you don't want to say. You want to protect the rights of your first employer.
Oh no. So I always thought this is an interesting question because the places where I worked were in fact some of my favorite pizzas.
Oh.
Now a lot of people, what the pizza you grow up with follows you, and I'll always remember those two. And just the smell of one of those pizzas, I will be able to identify walking into the building. They don't happen to be my favorite anymore because I've eaten so much of it, right? So like every day 2 slices, so it kind of, too much of a good thing, right? But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean I don't love them. It just is, it's hard to, have the same thing every single day.
But does that still exist then? That first one you're at, it's under new ownership now. So it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, okay, good. Well, then we can trash it. We can say what you want, man. Come on.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But the relationships I formed there, and I still stay in contact with some of the, the prep guys and the delivery guys, and like just great, the camaraderie in the restaurant business is incredible.
And I'm glad that you're not just a taster, you're a maker. So you can rate pizzas because you've had your hands in the dough. You sprinkled the cheese, you cut the pepperoni, you did it all.
I like to think that if you want to be credible as a pizza reviewer, you should be able to make a pizza, right? And make a good pizza, not just, form one and get it in the oven, but you should understand the components of a pizza, understand what makes a quality pie. Tray, as we'll say.
Oh yeah, we can get into that too, right? Yeah.
But I really think you should understand what a great pizza is, what it looks like, and have a broad experience with many different styles of pizza, and that's what I strive to do. For example, when I go to New York City or New Haven, Connecticut. Now I'm NEPA Pizza Review, but I do think there's a lot of value in. Well, these people are claiming they have the best pizza in the world. I still wouldn't trade ours for it. I love what we have here, right? Now that's
then based on your research, is there something special? Now you have to try to be objective here about Northeastern PA pizza. Well, yeah, I'll even throw in Philly, all of Eastern PA, maybe even the whole state. Do you get this in Texas? People always say, oh, I was on vacation. I went to Denver. I went to Dallas. I went to Chicago. Maybe not Chicago. I went to California and the pizza's terrible. They don't even have an appraisal. Is that realistic? Are we special?
You're throwing me a softball here, Joe. This is so, yes, there is absolutely something special.
So we are special.
1,000%, right? So number one is we have a high concentration of locally owned small businesses here who make a unique product, right? So the other thing is we're known for two, not one, but two pizzas that you can only get here with a very few exceptions. Old Forge Pizza. You can get there's somebody in Florida, I think, that makes it that is from here. Somebody in Denver that makes it that is from here. I'm not sure if they're still open.
Okay.
There's one in Harrisburg that makes it, Enola, Pennsylvania, Jigsy's, that makes it. But largely, Old Forge Pizzas in this little slot, in our little area, and pan-fried Sicilian pizza. And people like to lump the two together. They're very different. Which is Pizza Lovin', Pizza Perfect, Victory Pig, those types of pizzas.
See, folks, he can just roll it off. I'm telling you.
I'm very passionate about these two styles because they deserve national recognition, because there's nowhere else that makes pan-fried Sicilian pizza. Pan-fried Sicilian pizza cooked in peanut oil, fried crust on the bottom, chunky red sauce, and like a white cheddar cheese on top, and then comes default with the onions in the sauce under the cheese. And that is something you don't get anywhere else.
All right. Well, see, we're going to get to that later. I jumped ahead of myself. I like to take an arc through these things, and you already jumped through the arc, which is great. That's your passion coming out.
I have a lot more to say about pan-fried Sicilian too. So
but see, we're going to get to this later. I'm going to make a lot of enemies because I think Old Forge Pizza is extremely overrated. And maybe that's an upper valley kind of comment, but that's my feeling. But we'll get to that later. All right, here we go.
I look forward to weighing in on it.
All right. So when I was a kid, and if pizza wasn't around or my mom didn't bring it home, let's start with the most basic pizza. Have you done this? You get a loaf of bread. You get a piece of bread from the loaf. You put ketchup on it. You put some cheese on it and you stick it in the toaster. There's your most basic pizza. Do you agree? Does it get any more basic than that?
A sort of French bread flavor.
No, I'm just talking toast, ketchup, and cheese.
I don't know that I've done the ketchup thing. I could remember using like Hunt's tomato sauce, which is ketchup. But yeah, a little slice of American cheese on top. Didn't know any better, right? And
that's where it starts.
absolutely done that. And I've probably microwaved it, which is even worse. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do that all the time because impatience. You just stick it in the microwave and you're on your way. Good, good, good. All right. So that's the most basic pizza here. Now, I think what we should start with is the chain stores. You feel okay about that? You want to start with the chains because we have like Dominic's, you have you have Chuck E. Cheese, Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, Sbarro, Uno, Domino's. Do you want to start with some of those? What do you like of the chains?
what do I like? So if I ever post anything with chains, I get a lot of hate mail. You're the local guy,
Yeah. But we have to at least address the chains.
Sure. And sometimes you're just in an airport and you need a quick slice. Right?
Yes.
But
I like how you're picking but first of all, could you move your camera, folks? For those of you who are not only listening, but watching, this is on YouTube. The guy has a pizza bar set up. He's got posters. He's got a tablecloth on the bar. He's got a stringer of it. This is pizza. Look at I love it. So yeah, out of the chains, did I hit them all? I think there's like 7 big ones: Chuck E. Cheese, Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, Sbarro, Uno, Domino's. Am I missing anything there?
those are the big boys, I would say.
Yeah. So what's your feeling on those?
So I think they all have a place, right? So Domino's you don't get because you long for a great pizza. You get it because you want it fast and you want it, and also they're open at times that other places are not open. So they fit. I don't even view them as a competitor to any of our local establishments, right?
Right. Oh, so they're not even included. This is like none of those could even come close to any local pizza here, you're saying. Out of the question. Let's rule them out.
Well, yes, in terms of quality, but what I'm saying is that they're not even in the same market, right? They're selling price, speed, and convenience, right? They're McDonald's. That's what they're selling. And again, those people who own Domino's are local operators,
right?
Real people. It's not this corporation that deploys robots out there. There are local people living with you and I in the community that operate these things, but they're selling something different. They're selling a lot of it, but
they're selling their corporate product and they can't rise above it or sink below it. It is what it is, right?
It's consistent. You know what to expect and you know that you're going to get it fast.
But I'm a little older than you, and you I'm sure we're entrenched in this. Pizza Hut in the 70s was like, it was seen as above and beyond even the locals. It's almost like, whoa, yeah, there's Joe's Pizza Place down the road where I grew up, but yet here's this new chain and they have all these different pizzas and they have commercials on TV. You probably didn't live through that in the 70s, but Pizza Hut was considered a high standard, I think, in the 70s and 80s. Do you agree with that?
I do. And Joe, my book it pin is over here in a closet from, so you read a few books in school, you get the pin, then you go to Pizza.
Okay. Yeah.
And, so if you read your 5 or 10 books in elementary school, they give you the pin.
Yeah.
You get 5 stars and you go get your free personal pan pizza. So that was the Mecca, that you were living that. No, it didn't matter. Your parents had to pay, $15 for a pitcher of Pepsi and
yes.
But, you got your free personal pan pizza with choice of topping, pepperoni.
So you agree they had something there? They kind of made it in a homemade, unique way, didn't they? With all these different varieties. I think they exposed people to different types of pizza.
I would agree, and and nothing like on that deep dish pizza where they put the cornmeal underneath it. And that flavor. So
is that what they would do? A little cornmeal underneath it?
Underneath cornmeal and Parmesan cheese under it, and that gives you that really rich flavor that sort of sticks to your lips.
Oh, see, there's the secret. Well, how did they fall from grace? Now it's almost laughable, isn't it? I don't know. It seems that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. As I'm very fascinated in the business end of things too. Like I don't really do anything with this knowledge, but I'm fascinated in it. So. I think a lot changed for them when Domino's sort of did a really honest evaluation of themselves and said, our product is terrible. And they said, we're going to start over. And they hit the reset button. I think it was about a decade ago. and they changed their sauce, they changed their cheese, they really streamlined their model, and they were churning out, I hate to use the term better quality pizza, but I recently had a Pizza Hut pizza, and it didn't, I would say marketably Domino's is far superior to the Pizza Hut pizza that I had, which
Oh, so that you say that might be part of the equation. Domino's just said, "Hey, we're gonna beat this corporate world," and that left Pizza Hut. Yeah, but also Pizza Hut, they never upgraded. You go in there, it still seems like your grandmother's living room from the 70s. It seemed, right?
Yeah, it still does, and so they're a little behind the time. So their aggressive campaign now is based on nostalgia. You see their commercials now, where you have the velour
Yeah.
sweatsuit on, and I think it's successful. But they have large restaurants that did, they weren't as nimble through the pandemic as Domino's, which is just a little storefront grab and go.
Oh, okay, all right.
So and that's a lot more to upgrade than Domino's has. I don't know, 2,000 square foot, and Pizza Hut's 6,000, just by way of example. I'm not sure what the calcs would be.
Well, I don't expect you to be a corporate expert in pizza sales, but am I correct in assessing the fact that at least Pizza Hut has been on the decline in sales and revenue, or is that just anecdotally in my head? I don't know. It seems like it's on the decline.
I would say certainly in Northeast PA that would be the case, because many stores have closed over the last 5 years.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I heard there's one opening in Wilkes-Barre or Kingston.
Oh, really?
I heard. So I'd like to see what their new model looks like. Again, I'm the small business supporter, but
yeah.
I'm certainly, I like to know what's on the market for sure.
We're gonna get to all those locals, but I still want to knock off some of these chains. So do you like Chuck E. Cheese pizza? Is that like laughable again? Is that like you're at a birthday party, so you happen to get a pizza? No one's gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese for their pizza, are they?
So I'm at Chuck E. Cheese a lot more often than a kid can be a kid. I'm still a kid at heart. So when someone wants to go there 3 times a week, we don't go 3 times a week, but we enjoy going there. I'm playing my skee ball, but the pizza, I would say their pizza is comparable, maybe a little better than Domino's.
Okay, putting it above.
It's fine. It's edible, but it's not insulting to my intelligence, right? It's fresh dough pizza with a lot of air quotes, but hey, pizza.
Little Caesars pizza. What do you think?
See, they're selling price and speed. Like I think you can still get a $5 pizza there.
Yeah. So that's the equivalent of like McDonald's cheeseburgers, you think? Just get them in, get them out.
Right, but some of the pan pizza is pretty good for a party or something like, you know what I mean?
Cheap, fast, volume.
Pizzas. Yeah, but again, you're not buying quality. You're not going to steal the show at the party. It's one of the terms I use is a party pleaser, which is a pizza that everybody will like if you bring it to a party, right? So it's got enough for the snobs, got enough for the kiddos. Party pleaser is
and then there's Uno pizza. To me, that's like a contrived. Uno, someone at corporate level said, let's make a corporate version of a local pizza place and make people feel like they're in on the process. It's all contrived, isn't it? Uno's. Is there any? Do you like Uno's pizza, or what's the deal there?
So while we still had Uno here in Dixon City, my daughter was a little younger. We liked to go there because they would give you the dough and she.
But isn't it like the equivalent of Build-A-Bear? Come on.
It is. I mean, in Chicago style pizza, which that was a version of it.
Yeah.
It's a beast. I make it once in a while. I actually made one 2 nights ago here, just to say I did it and to share some photos on Instagram, basically. But it's heavy. It's like a 12-inch pizza feeds a family of 5 because there's just so much cheese in it, and that's a corporate version of it.
Yeah.
It's not great. That's a good once every 2 years pizza for me.
So who's the winner in the chains, in your opinion? Does Sbarro have anything? How do you pronounce that one? Sbarro?
Sbarro.
Who's your winner? I want to hear the pizza expert winner of the chain store pizza. Here we go, folks. This is it.
Okay,
I'm
here
putting
it is.
him on the line.
I am
putting
going
him
to
out
say,
there.
So I'll qualify by saying I don't eat the chain pizza often, but
Okay.
I will say I'm most nostalgic about when I have Papa John's and they put the butter sauce and the little pepperoncinis in the box.
Okay.
And, I find their pizza, it's the thin, sort of crispy, but it's not crispy by the time it gets delivered. Pizza, I prefer that over say Papa John's and or over Domino's and Pizza Hut.
So you're thinking Papa John's might be the winner of the chain store national pizza, if you have to go chain.
If I had to go chain and all those options were available, I would order Papa John's.
Oh, there you go. Woo! All right, so we got that out. All right, now this is my bridge to the local pizza. But I've always wondered this. Maybe you'll have the answer. And maybe what I'm about to say will change your life. You're going to quit your job. You're going to do what I say and make millions. We've been down the Jersey Shore. Everybody gets those gigantic pizzas. I mean, they're gigantic. You get one slice. It's as big, as a hubcap on a car. They're gigantic. So are they called boardwalk pizza? I don't even know, but there's something special about those gigantic pizzas you get on the Jersey Shore. Why hasn't anyone opened up a place here and call it Jersey Shore Pizza and sell gigantic pizzas for a comparable price? Because I think the biggest letdown when you go to a pizza place and you order what I'm going to say is a tray and it's fairly small. You want big. Everybody wants big, big, big. Why isn't anyone selling gigantic Jersey Shore pizzas around here? Why? Or even on the chain scale?
So I would call that a boardwalk pizza.
Yeah.
And the other things that I would characterize here's the snob coming out. The other things I would characterize a boardwalk pizza as being a little bit stingy on the cheese, stingy on the sauce.
Oh.
When I say a boardwalk pizza, you boardwalked that pizza because the cheese is about 2-3 inches from the edge of the crust, right? So that you have that
okay.
big,
I never really noticed that though. I don't know. Maybe.
And
they're very thin, very thin.
Very thin. So anyway, but why don't? So here's my. So first of all, Uncle Joe's Pizza in Pittston does do that.
Oh, they do.
They do have a very large pizza.
Do they call it the boardwalk pizza?
I'm not sure. That's just their normal. I think it's
okay.
8-inch pizza, something like that. It's huge pizza. It's right next to. It's in the plaza next to Walmart there.
Okay.
So they have it now. Logistically, those are hard to deliver. Some cars you can't get it in the trunk.
You may have solved my query then. So you're saying that could be one of the issues. If someone out there wants to make these gigantic pizzas, yeah, at the boardwalk they're not delivering them. Here you have to deliver them, and they're going to slip and they're going to slide and how do you contain them? That's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. And to make that successful, you need a high foot traffic. I'm going to order this slice for $7.50. The high foot traffic area so that people can go in, get their one slice,
and
then be on their way. It's not really a.
I see. So my business proposal. This is your college education at work. Should I put that out there and try to open a place called Boardwalk Pizza? They're gigantic. I'll sell them by the slice, big trays. You don't want me to do that. It's not going to work.
You're going to need a touristy, high foot traffic area. Maybe, and I think they do something similar down at Kalahari. But
okay, all right, yeah.
You're sort of moving it through. You grab. I think they're like $12 a slice, something like that. But I'm not saying your model won't work. I'm just saying. The places it does work is where there's high foot traffic tourists that are looking to get back to what they're doing and have a portable meal with them that's easy to carry and move throughout.
Gotcha. Now, would you lose respect for me if I told you that might be my favorite pizza on planet Earth, Boardwalk Jersey Shore Pizza, or no?
Not at all. And you would share the same sentiment as a lot of them. If I share, like, once in a while, one of my friends will text me a photo of something they're eating in Jersey or Ocean
Right.
City, and I'll repost it. And those are some of my more popular posts.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So others agree. It is great. I don't know why. It's great. Maybe it's taking in the vibe because you're on vacation and it's summer and there's the beach and there's bikini girls and it's all a part of the memory. But there's something about that boardwalk pizza that I just love.
Especially those ones that put the sauce on top.
Yeah.
Right? That's grotto style, I'd like to call it.
And you hold it and it just like flops down like this. It's literally like wet, like paper towel. I just love those really thin crusts, and it just
it's great. I'm put one in front of me. I'm not turning down a slice. I promise you that.
All right. So we got the chain stores. I'm going by and I never make outlines. We got the chains. We got the Jersey Shore. Are you ready to get into your specialty now, big guy? Are you ready, Jim, to start talking local?
Oh, absolutely. Fire away.
Now, remember, I live in northern Lackawanna County. So my preference is for places like Mainline, Lou's, Vincenzo's, Andy's, Tony's, Nina's, Basilico's, Coloruso's. So that's within a radius of where I go. So I don't mean to leave out the people, closer to Wilkes-Barre, et cetera. I'm sure they have, names like they can just spurt off like I just did. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to include everybody? And what do you think about the ones I mentioned?
So that's a very powerful lineup there. You have
very powerful. I love it.
Andy's with the lineage and the history there.
Yes.
Product. Great people that own that, by the way.
Yes.
Lou's has that classic Old Forge pizza. Mainline, everybody loves their pizza up here. I'd call that Old Forge as well. A lot of people get insulted when you call an Old Forge pizza an Old Forge pizza.
Well, see, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not insulted, but I'm surprised. What am I missing? So this had to be 20 years ago. I'm 55 years old. It took a while for me. I go to Old Forge to sample their great pizza. I'm not saying it's not great or it's not good, but it's not, whoa. To me, it's just like any other pizza. There was nothing special about it. I was expecting some explosion of taste. I was expecting some renaissance. And to me, it was just like, what? I can get this anywhere. What's the big deal? What am I missing?
So, I'm usually pretty forthcoming saying it. Old Forge pizza is not one of my favorite styles of pizza either. But it is one of my favorite pizzas because of what it is and represents and what the town represents, right? So Old Forge pizza, let's just say it's about a half-inch thick. It's a light, airy, but yet dense crumb, like a tight crumb, so you don't see big air bubbles in the crust, right?
Okay.
So it's light and crisp, but it's a consistent. There's not these big variations like a Sicilian.
Got to be square.
What's that?
Got to be square.
Well, of course, in Northeast PA, it's square, even though it's rectangular. Right?
Okay.
So, and then it has
but does it have to be square?
It does. I would say it has to be that rectangular 13 by 18 inch, so
gotcha.
I guess you can make a round Old Forge if you wanted to.
We can make a trapezoid.
However it is. Cooked in a pan, sweet, pre-cooked sauce. It's usually like a spaghetti sauce.
Whoa. So that's another characteristic?
Yeah, usually the sauce is cooked beforehand. I can't say that is always the case.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you're saying versus pouring it out of a can or out of a vat and then having it heat up with the pizza, you're saying they're pre-cooked the sauce?
A lot of times, yeah. They may pre-cook the sauce and then refrigerate it.
Oh, interesting.
Like a New York style sauce, a lot of the times you would call it raw sauce.
Where scoop it in, pour it on. Oh, right. See, I'm learning. All right. Any cheese specific with this Old Forge stuff?
So the cheese, one rumor I have to dispel, and I work very hard at this. And this is usually the New Yorkers come in. American cheese on pizza is not pizza, is what the comment I get a lot. Now, Old Forge pizza, yes, many of the blends do include American cheese, right? But most are not exclusively American cheese. Maybe it's 25% of the blend, 50% of the blend. Some you'll see, they're easy to point out. An American cheese pizza usually has the burned cheese. It doesn't kind of melt away. For example, a mainline pizza, I would think is probably a high percentage of American cheese, which is delicious. It's very NEPA. Other people don't do it. And that's what makes it special, right? So we have it here.
But in your opinion, mainline is a variety or a copy or a attempt at Old Forge pizza, or no? Is that what you're saying? Because mainline,
I'm not saying they are attempting. I'm not saying they set out to make Old Forge pizza. I'm saying what they make is what I would classify as Old Forge pizza.
Oh, interesting.
Because of the properties.
Yes.
Like the big one is when I say Maroni's or Alfredo's in Scranton are Old Forge pizza, which in my view, we talk about subjective. Those are Old Forge pizzas. And now this will probably be the most controversial statement. And again, I'm not a very controversial figure, but that's a very controversial statement for some folks to hear. Both pizzas extremely delicious, but the folks that eat it and love it, among them, hold it in very high regard to the point where it cannot be Old Forge pizza. Even though it's rectangular, has the same crust, and has an American cheese in the blend.
But what you're doing and what I'm doing is we're like Charles Darwin in the 1800s. We're trying to classify things that no one did yet. So there is no classification for pizza, real. I mean, there's loose classifications, but there's no definition of Old Forge pizza. We're creating it.
And who am I to classify it? I'm just a guy with a keyboard.
You're Charles Darwin.
Yeah, so and again, I would anybody watching this that wants to debate whether these great local establishments are or are not, please message me and we'll talk.
There you go. It's worth a discussion. I love it. Okay, so that's Old Forge. We got that out of the way. Is there anyone in Old Forge who makes a traditional New York style pizza or no?
There is. There's a newer place. I think they've been open about a year. Popsy's Pizzeria. I stopped by there. He makes a round
flat.
He makes a Sicilian and he makes an Old Forge style pizza. And one thing I also want to say about what makes Old Forge pizza special is that town has, I've done this a couple of times on my social media where I take my phone and I sort of film Main Street and I show there's just pizzerias all over the place. Right? The cool thing about them though is that they work together. One runs out of cheese or dough. They'll borrow from each other and they support each other. It's really amazing. Great people down there, great community. They just did an event free to the public, Snow Forge, where they shut down the street and just people go and there's vendors and horse-drawn carriages and just really cool event that just they pulled together to make it happen. And love that town because they work together. And that, I think, to me, that's a big part of what makes Old Forge pizza special.
Absolutely. And it wasn't contrived. No one said, let's make Old Forge Pizza Town. It happened organically and naturally, and it's going back 2, 3, 4 generations. So that's what they have going for. And I do understand that, that's for sure. All right. So do we want to go up Valley now, down Valley? Where do you want to take this thing? What are your favorites? You mentioned the Andes and the Tonys. They have that Old Forge vibe and also Lou's. Do you want to get now into more of the New York style? You want to branch out? What else do you like in the Valley here or in the Northeast?
I think we're known for maybe four kinds.
Okay, here we go.
Really unique here. So you have the Old Forge pizza, which has the most national recognition, I would say.
Yep.
Pan-fried Sicilian pizza, I think, is just as popular locally, although people in Lackawanna County 5 years ago generally didn't know what it was and would call it Old Forge pizza. I like to think I'm part of the education of
I love it.
Lackawanna, Luzerne sort of stop calling Victory Pig Old Forge pizza. It's not. It isn't. There's actually a local guy that wrote a book about Northeast PA pizza, a recipe book, who lumped the two styles together. And I still have the book. I'm not sure why.
Of course you do.
Even that book, the author confused the two, even though he's supposedly, a definitive voice on it. But they're very distinct, very different processes, very different recipes. And, so they couldn't be more different in their approach to how you make a pizza. The pan fried Sicilian. Again, I'm talking about Pizza Love and Pizza Perfect, Victory Pig. There's about 50 places, and I'll use the term in the world that make it, and they're all here in Northeast PA.
Whoa. Pan fried, you're saying, is the part of that recipe, so to speak.
Yeah, that little genre.
Yes, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And why the name Victory Pig? That always bothered me.
So,
what's a pig have to do with it?
I'm not positive what inspired the name, but they were the first to make this style pizza. A lot of people say it was right around World War II.
Okay.
Where they opened, I believe, the 1940s, and not a huge history. So if I'm a little sketchy on dates here, just forgive me. But around World War II, they opened. So they were the original making this style of pizza. A lot of folks speculate that it has a lot of similarities with Detroit style pizza. Another delicious pizza style of pizza that I like to make. So they do have some similarities in composition and how you put them together. And they both kind of started around the same time in that same sort of era. So we aren't sure, where that sort of comes from.
Okay, so that's one grouping. That's one division you've created. What else do we got here?
Also in Northeast PA, we have two other kinds. More well known in the Hazelton area. It's a bakery style Pitts, Pitz, or they call it box tavern pizza. It's essentially a cold pizza that's sort of made with the cheese unmelted that they set in a box with the wax paper, and then it's just good to go, and you can just leave it at room temperature for up to 4 days. I'm told. That's totally anecdotal.
Jim, I don't know. Is this good? What is that?
So you just rip off a slice and you just eat it, right? So a lot of people take it on road trips, to the beach or the Yankee game or whatever it may be.
But wait, I do know, is that like Nardone's out of the box?
Similar, but local. Well, Nardone's is local as well, but I would say a little more, a little better, better quality. I would say
less mass produced. Okay.
Yeah.
More homemade touch. Don't make fun of my Nardone's. This is my go-to for a quick in the microwave middle of the night snack.
You already answered my question, Joe. So let's go. If we can go here, Nardone Brothers. We all grew up with it. Some people Profera, some another brand, but yeah. We all cook it differently as kids. I was a microwave person myself, but I made a video on YouTube as to different ways. What's the best way to cook this, right? Some people said do it in a frying pan. Some people said do it in a frying pan with oil. Some people said grill it. Some people said boil it, which I didn't try. Bake it, bake it on a baking stone, bake it with foil over the top. So there's all these ways that people do it. Air fryer is a popular one, and I tested them all, and I think,
oh, you did? I love it.
Yeah, so I think I did 6 different ways. I didn't do all the variations. There were like 22 different variations, but it was a fun experiment, and I think I like the grilled, but I don't like the hassle of preheating. So I would probably still just eat it cold or microwave it if I had it in my house.
Well, I was going to say, Jim, I think no one is going to disagree. The most tasty version of those would be grilled. You put a little butter down or something. But we're talking about expedience of time. Mm-hmm. No dishes. You just napkin, microwave, done. It's not going to be as good, but it's immediate and satisfying. If you have a short attention span, this is what I need.
Exactly. That's what it's perforated, so you just rip it, right? Yeah. So you just go, and you're on to the next. You're already finishing your homework, or you're already, doing your weather research already, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I do, I open up the fridge, and if I see a box of Nardone's, I look to my left, look to my right, make sure my wife's not around. Then I just eat it right out of the fridge, out of the box. Yeah, no one's around.
And there's no dishes, right? So you're all set.
You eat it over the sink, so the crumbs just go in the sink too. That solves everything.
Guilty as charged.
So, are we hammering all the big ones here then? What do you think?
So, and the other one that we have in Northeast PA that a lot of other places don't, they'll call it a calzone or a stromboli somewhere else, is double crust white pizza.
Yeah, but see, now you're branching off into,
that's what we're known for. That's what we're known for.
We're branching. Where does the branch? When does it become not pizza? That's what I'm wondering.
I'm a little open-minded, I guess, with my pizza styles. So I try to promote what we have here and the small businesses that make it. So
yeah,
I like to feature all that's available here. But that's not to say that we don't have great versions of my favorite New York style pizza.
Mine too. Mine too.
So you're talking, and I would say in Lackawanna County, you're talking about Rosario's, you're talking about Armenti's, Basilicos, Buona Pizza, and then there's a ton of other good ones. Those are the ones that sort of come to mind as great New York style pizza. And down the line in Wilkes-Barre, you're talking Serpico's and Nello's. I think they're kind of the same family, but they do great New York style pizza as well.
So New York, it's got to be thin. Does it have to be mozzarella or not necessarily?
Generally, yeah. Some people have a Mozz provolone blend, but it's generally mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
On a thin round crust, no sauce on top. But the people, and again, I try to put things in nice, neat little pockets to so like
you got to do that. You got to put them in their neat little boxes.
Right. Yeah. So like Angelo's Pizza, which is more similar to the shore pizza, the boardwalk pizza you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is it's a round, much more dense crust than a New York style crust with cheddar cheese, not mozzarella, I'm assuming cheddar, and a sweet sauce swirled on top. That's
okay.
I call that kind of grotto style because they're the bigger name.
Wait, now you just tick the box. I forgot about the grotto. That could be maybe tied for my first place.
Another shore pizza, right?
What is that? Is that what you would call that? I guess. Yeah, maybe this.
I like to call it shore pizza.
But they have that certain. What is the secret to there? It's like a soury taste or something. The grotto is excellent. What's going on there? Do you know? Did you?
Again, I think the contrast between the saltier cheddar-ish, I'm going to say cheddar-ish because I don't know these folks' recipes.
Yeah.
And the sweet sauce swirl on the top. When you put sauce on top of a pizza, not under the sauce, two things happen. First, the cheese traps moisture in, so the crust is going to be floppier and soggier when the sauce is in the normal in the middle.
Okay.
And so when you put it on top, the sauce can't saturate the dough, so it's a crispier crust. And the other thing that happens is the water from the sauce evaporates, so it's a much more intense flavor because there's a reduction going on.
Oh, I love it. So little science of the pizza here. This is excellent. So are you a grotto guy?
I enjoy it as much as the next person.
You're making me rethink myself. So I've come to the conclusion that grotto and boardwalk, which you're saying are cousins of each other, this is where my brain wants to go.
That's how I see it. And again, I don't have any specific facts or history or that would make me believe it to be. I just look at technically what the pizza, how it's put together, and that's just technically how I look at it. And there's a lot of crossover. Someone use a New York crust, but it's it's all just pizza. I just try to classify it so that when people ask me where do I go, and I ask them what do you like, it's much easier to recommend a certain pizza when I can put them in a certain
compartment. We're compartmentalizing here. So that brings up my last topic here, because I think we're nailing it here. Toppings. I mean, when you start, there used to be one of my favorites, A&A Pizza in Einan. Do you remember A&A Pizza in Einan?
I remember it. I'm not sure that I've had it, but I certainly remember it.
I think they're defunct now. They used to make a great Mexican style. It seems like Mexican, not all that popular, with lettuce and tomatoes and peppers all sprinkled on top. Tough pizza to get.
It is a hard pizza to get. And I think, I'll every May I'll put out a post for Cinco de Mayo, and a lot of places will comment and say, we're offering this today by the slice, by the tray, but it's more of a seasonal thing or a special thing. The one challenge is it becomes expensive when you put all that on there, and then to charge $22-25 for a pizza.
Oh, I see. Right. So it turns people off. Yeah, yeah.
The other thing is lettuce on a pizza is, I mean, to reheat it, it's you really have to have it fresh out of the oven with the lettuce and tomatoes sprinkled on it. Otherwise, it's sort of a wilted mess. Kind of like a chicken Caesar pizza. It's it's kind of, you can't really reheat it. It just becomes a mess.
But isn't there now a limit to when you start overdoing the toppings, it's not pizza anymore. It's like when you start putting too many accessories on your car, it's no longer a car. What does it become? Is it a
So I have a couple of philosophies on that.
All right.
So first, I'm very open-minded to what pizza is, right? So the ketchup on a slice of bread and a slice of American cheese, that's pizza to me. That's fine. And if you put 13 toppings stacked on top of that, that's also still pizza. But
okay.
One philosophy I've developed over time, and I've learned, and we can use Domino's as an example. They give you free toppings for a reason, right? So when somebody tells me, yeah, but you have to have it with, that's usually an indicator that it's not actually great pizza.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, in its purest, when you see my pizza reviews, it's generally a cheese pizza, like just plain in its purest form, and I review it in that way so that there's nothing that can sway my review, because I think bacon, pepperoni, they make everything better, right? Like I'm not sure that there's a dish that bacon doesn't make better.
Yes, but is it taken away from what pizza is? In my car analogy, here's what I'm saying. If you put a turret and a machine gun on a car, it's no longer a car. It's now a military vehicle. If you get a piece of pizza and you put mashed potatoes on it, or you put big hunks of steak on it, I think they call the mashed potato things pogash or something. Mm-hmm. When is it not pizza anymore? It's becoming something else. Or if you take away the sauce and it's now the white pizza. No, we're not even pizza anymore. You took a car, you put a machine gun on it. It's now a war vehicle. Where's your cutoff?
I don't know. Again, I'm a little open-minded as to what it is. Pagash to me is I'm not. If I wasn't in this role and it wasn't so popular during Lent, I probably wouldn't eat it. It's it's too much carbs on carbs on carbs for me.
Yeah. Is it pizza? It's not pizza.
I call it pagash pizza, so I guess I'm okay.
No. Did you ever see the big steak they put on pizza? Big hunks of steak? That's not pizza anymore. What is that?
So maybe it gets into the gourmet pizza category.
Stop it.
Hot wing pizza, is that pizza?
Okay. So that's all. Oh. And I love that. But you're right now. Yeah, now it's hot wing sauce.
So it's available. So a lot of what I talk about on social is what my readers want me to talk about, and they love pagash potato, mashed potato pizza.
They do.
They are crazy for it, so I will talk about it.
Okay, well, you tell them to go to the pierogi if they want that taste, okay? Because now you're in my territory, okay? Go to the pierogi.
I'll tell them watch the weather guy from now on. For the pizza so that to me is like, so being a local pizza blogger, I feel a responsibility to talk about what we have here and what people like, and I want to represent what people like here, and they like mashed potatoes on pizza, generally speaking. And
it's not that I don't like it, but it's a different animal. That's all I'm saying.
It is a different animal, and man, get ready to take a nap after you eat it.
Yeah. Boil some pierogies. That's my advice. Let's finish up with the eating style. I've always been bothered by the folders. They get their piece of pizza and then they fold it in half, and it's almost like it's almost like you're rushing something. If you're folding it, you're not enjoying, you're just trying to get it over with. Why are you doing that? Stop the folding.
So I'm not a folder myself. I call it the New York fold because you see that a lot. Folks that, they grab a slice from the window on the streets of New York, fold it and keep going, right? So that it's a matter of portability, I think.
Portability, and you don't want the sauce to run off. Yes, expediency. I get that.
There are many though that, they grab it, they don't even think twice. They just fold it in half and at the table. It's what's the rush there? But I don't believe you can enjoy and take in the textures and the different flavors. It all sort of smashes together.
Yes. Stop the folding right now. Stop it.
Stop. We'll get some t-shirts made up. How about the knife and fork crowd?
Okay. So listen, okay. If you eat pizza with a knife and fork, you're a pretentious piece of garbage. End of discussion. Over.
Period. Right. I've dined with some knife and forkers, and it is what it is,
No, because here's what the knife and forkers do when no one's around. They don't use the knife and fork. So that's how you know it's a fake act. You know what I mean? If they're on pizza at home, no one's around. They're not getting a knife and fork out. They're doing it to look overly proper. And I don't like that.
I see what you're saying. Again, maybe I'm just a little too jaded and too open-minded, but it doesn't bother me so much. But that's an interesting theory for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you have anything else? You have folders, you have knife and forkers, and I guess that's it, right? Maybe overly napkin use. Like, do you need a napkin on the plate? I mean, on the pizza when you're eating? Excuse me?
You have the dabbers or the blotters.
Oh, yes. And I used to be one, and then I gave that up. The dabbers, I was a dabber.
See, I'm not a big believer. You take the pizza as is. I want to review it in its natural state, of course. So, but there's a lot of flavor to be garnered there in that grease. I think
my dabber tendency fluctuates with my cholesterol level. So if I get a nice low level from my blood work, then I don't dab for months. And then if it goes up, I start dabbing again.
Oh, see, well, you have a metric.
I do have a metric. All right, Jim, this was great. So again, if you want to remind everyone where they can find your reviews, and if we left anything out here, I want you to leave pleased, man. Tell us about it. Give it up.
Again, so you can check out the website at nepapizzareview.com. I'm at NEPA Pizza Review on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even on TikTok these days.
Man, what do you dance around with pizzas?
No, sir. just straight up pizza review. I'm trying to do more how-to stuff. But you can check me out on any of those outlets, and if I said YouTube. And I love to talk pizza, and I love to hear from people. So definitely comment, send me some messages, and just let me know what you like and what you want to see next, because it's my passion, it's my project, but I really want to represent what people want to see and what they want to know.
I love it. And this is 2022 when this hits. So get out and eat more pizza this year. All right. Come on. Life is short.
Absolutely. That's a very important New Year's resolution that people should make.
Forget about the gym.
Go support your local proprietors. They're the backbones of our community. They're the ones, sponsoring the Little League team and buying the dance shoes.
I love it. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go to the fridge right now and get Nardones and eat it with a fork and knife. And if you do that, you are an enemy of the people.
I'll watch for you hovering over the sink there, Joe.
All right. Thanks, Jim. You're the best, brother.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it.
You got it. Peace.
Curiosity. What are you so curious about? Everything, Mr. Curiosity.